Who is Allah according to Islam?
Hey y'all, this is Elijah, also known as Eli, also known as E-Money, and I'm going to be talking about Islam. Quick disclaimer, again, I'm not a Hafiz or an Imam. I haven't gone to school for anything about Islam, so they're just my thoughts. I always recommend researching scholars' opinions, but I just want to share a little bit about Islam.
Allah.
As shown, Allah is the Arabic word for God, and not only do Muslims call God Allah, Arab Christians call God Allah, and I'm assuming Arab Jewish people would call God Allah. Muslims worship Allah and only believe in one God, not in the same way, but very similar to how Christian people and Jewish people believe in one God, and is classified under the Abrahamic religions. Because humans' brains are like smaller and created by God, Muslims believe you could never imagine how God looks, so instead of depicting God with images, we write his name out, God's name out, like that. There are debates on his physicality, like there's some Quran and Hadith that mentions God having a right hand, loins, and stuff like that, where like he has descriptive body parts, but some people interpret that as a metaphor. Some people take that literal. But regardless of if he literally has a right hand or not, he's unlike anything we can imagine. Since the beginning of time, starting with Adam, Allah has talked to humans and had prophets and people deliver the message of Islam. I think there's 25 mentioned prophets in the Quran, but there are many more unmentioned ones. And Muslims believe in Adam, Moses, Jesus, also known as Isa and Muhammad, as people who were prophets of Allah. And they were given revelation and miracles, like Moses splitting the sea, and there are different books. The final book and complete book being the Quran. Muslims also believe that the Bible and the Torah have a lot of truth in them. So now that I talked about who Allah is, I'd like to answer a question that I get asked often in a respectful way. But the question is, why worship one God and not two, three, or just no God at all? Well, atheism, not agnosticness, and two different things. Atheism is the belief that there are zero gods. My thought process with that is something always has to come from something. For example, if a carpenter built a house, he had to get wood to make the house, and that wood had to come from a tree, and that just keeps going back, right? Alright, so it goes on and on and on of what created that thing, what created that thing, what created that thing, right? And according to atheism, that leads you to the Big Bang. I'm not saying the Big Bang didn't happen, but what I am saying is this. For those two atoms that collided, that exploded, or that atom that split, or however the Big Bang happened, right? What was before that? According to that, it's called regression theory. There you go, regression theory. There's something have to be before the Big Bang. I think God might have created the Big Bang. That could be possible. But I just feel like there would need to be something that is outside of time, that is all powerful, that creates stuff with a purpose, as i.e. the universe and the world, and that thing in my mind would be God and not like an atom splitting or the Big Bang. Alright, that explains why I believe that God can exist and there can be a higher power. But why not higher powers or multiple gods like in other religions? So imagine this. There's one person driving and they decide to go right, the car goes right. They decide to go left, the car goes left. Right? If you have two beings and it's like a two-wheeled car, one of them decides to go right, one of them decides to go left. And this is representing two gods disagreeing with each other, because that happens a lot in religions where there's multiple gods, right? If two gods disagree with each other, one guy wants to go right, one guy wants to go left, they would either go one direction, let's say they go right. In my mind, that means the God that wanted to go left is not a God, because he's weaker than this right God and isn't control and all powerful, right? So if they go right, then that means this one's not a God and there's one God in my mind. But if they stop and they're both equally powerful and they can't come upon a decision in that direction to go, things just stop working. And I feel like the world would be, although there's war and there's sadness in the world, if two gods are at complete war with each other, complete disagreement, I feel like the world would be utter chaos all the time. Nothing would get created, nothing would get made. Like there would be fights all the time. It just wouldn't work. And the gods wouldn't be all powerful because they're not going the direction they want to go. They're dependent on the other one. So that's if they go right, left. Oh, and then if they both go right, and they both agreeing on the same thing every single time, at that point, is it not just the same God? Thank you so much for watching. That's it for this video. And I think I'm going to do like an A to Z Islam, starting with Allah and then ending with, I don't know, Zenna or something, and just doing different subjects in Islam as I go through. But please like and subscribe, and I'm out.